with all those goals, hopes, dreams, goals, all those things, you still have to, actually do the job, right? Make sure you're good. Good meaning wear your heart on your sleeve. Be attentive. Be present when you're talking with your clients. It's big money. You're not picking out paint colors with someone, right? It's more
Yeah.
than that.
I know you just got back from a ski trip. I saw on social media. You do a great job on social media. Tell me how did that trip go?
We have a lot of fun. This is our annual family ski trip, and I've got 5 teenagers. So basically, they hate being around adults. So to have them all together forcefully to do something that we all enjoy, it's a great joy. Sometimes it's better than Valentine's or birthday or Christmas.
Yeah, I can see. So, um, are you a snowboarder or are you a skier?
I've done both, but since I'm older now, I do skiing. I let my my older teenage boys do the snowboarding. It's very you got to be very athletic and fall gracefully with that. Get up quickly. Skiing's a little bit easier in my opinion.
And then what about the kids? The kids are all into snowboarding.
The three little kids they like skiing. The older two boys they like snowboarding, but skiing's where it's at. We've got our you know fast ones and we got our slow ones on the greens, and that's okay. We'll push each other to do a blue. I've got video of my youngest one doing a blue in the snow, and he was really excited about that. That was kind of like a
Oh,
double highlight.
that's awesome. We're still trying to get Jessica off the bunny slopes, man.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do a double date on the slopes, and I'll get her on a black before you know it.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, guys. So thank y'all guys for tuning in, for sharing some time. We're here with my friend and business partner, Curt Hale. Curt is a mortgage loan originator with Prime Lending up in Abilene, Texas. Where is Abilene?
Abilene is central PennDOT in Texas, basically. So
Wow, is
just
that
west
right?
of Weatherford, Fort Worth. Yep.
West of
So
Weatherford, Fort Worth. And I know that we stopped by and say hello to you when we're on our way to Lubbock to go visit our daughter. What's that called? The West Plains, or what do they call that whole area out there?
yeah, sure. This is just West Texas. When you pass probably, uh, I don't know, Big Spring, it becomes really desert-like. That's true West Texas, but you go up to the plains, that way, Lubbock. Lubbock's probably about 1,500 feet higher than Abilene. We're at about 17 to 1,800 feet above sea level.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So let's do our rapid fire real quick and we'll ease into this conversation. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions and you give me your best answer. Okay. So keeping on with the skiing theme, Colorado or New Mexico?
Colorado,
Okay. Um, Steak or shrimp?
steak.
All right. All right. So check this one out. So what we'll share, I'm sure it'll come out a little bit later. You guys are going to find out Curt Hale is a tremendous baseball enthusiast, a big fan. So let me tell you this: if you're watching baseball, Curt, would you rather see someone hit for the cycle or see someone pitch a perfect game?
Hit for the cycle.
Oh man! So you're about the offense, huh?
Yeah, big time. Those pitchers are great, but we've seen enough. I do like a good pitcher's duel too. That can go with a lot of hits or a lot of strikeouts. I'm okay with a good pitcher's duel too.
Yeah, but you want to see him hit for the cycle. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool. And
that
last
was a good
one,
one.
George Strait or Luke Bryan?
Oh, George Strait.
There we go. So that tells you a little bit about Curt Hale. So I love Curt because he's a traditionalist. He always sharpens my sword, my blade when I go by and visit him. And some of that will come through just naturally, guys. He's one of the sharpest mortgage loan originators, which really means one of the smartest and sharpest businessmen that I've had the pleasure of hanging out with and knowing. So it's just a blessing to hang out with you. And when you give me some time, I really appreciate it. Appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you, Phil. I appreciate your visits every time. I feel more entrepreneurial or creatively spirited when we're talking because I'm able to really dive down on all those things we're talking about and feel more open and able to succeed with your presence. So thank you.
That's what partnership's all about. That's all what partnership's all about. So take me back to the beginning. Kurt, are you from the Abilene area? Where are you from?
No, if you could tell, I've got a little Georgia accent, maybe sometimes. Grew up in Dunwoody, Georgia, northeast suburb of Atlanta, and went to Georgia Southern University to get my business degree. Was in college, met people, still talk with them today. I was in Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. We did athletics, working out, doing bike riding, baseball, softball, all sorts of stuff like football. So then moved out to Texas when Evan turned 1. So he's almost 16. So I've lived here 15 years.
Okay. Okay. So, and the town you're from in Georgia, is it similar size to Abilene or?
It's kind of like if you lived in San Antonio and you knew your town's name, the fire station, the library, the city hall, all that, but then it started to grow, right?
Yeah.
So suburbs of Atlanta are uh, more diverse now than they were when I was a kid in the 90s. But I remember, going to help people down the street was something. Teaching kids how to play guitar and play baseball. I mean, I babysat, but my trade off for babysitting was I would get money, but I would be teaching them baseball or just little cooking things or picking up pine cones, cutting grass, all that stuff in my community. So it was easy for me to move to a new area and be in a originator role in sales. I've always been a salesperson.
Is that right? So were you an originator back in Georgia, or did that just happen when you came to Texas?
No, I actually moved to Florida after I graduated from college. So that's where I started cutting my teeth on lending. My job, 30 days out of college, after I got my diploma, was originating home equity loans for a small sister bank
Okay.
out of Milwaukee, and I lived in Florida doing that for about 4.5 years, and then the economy went bust, and moved out to Texas.
Yep. So you said about 15 years ago. So we're talking about 2010. So it's about that time, huh?
Yeah, 2007 through 2010 were tough, man. They were real tough, especially if you were young, did not have, a circle of influence because they're all in the same business as you. So you had to figure out what was going to make you or bust you. And I just decided to stay in the financial world. I did not do mortgages for about 2 years, almost three. I worked for an attorney group for a while, helping people avoid foreclosure and bankruptcies and divorces, maybe. We were doing debt settlements and debt negotiation. Also worked as a financial advisor. I had an insurance license as well. Worked in a bank, just shaking people's hands and helping them with accounts and structuring things financially. So all those things I've had a passion for a long time, and proving it through the Great Recession because there was nothing else to do. You really had to help each other. Everyone was helping each other at that time, but it was just proof. You got to keep going after it if that's what you like.
Yeah. And I want to dig in on that. So she's at the time, back in, like you say, 2007 to the years after that, it was tough. How did Curt Hale make it through the other side of that in one piece and in position to take advantage of the market when it opened up again?
Great question. So I got a little bit smarter. It was really tough, not being able to pay bills or eat or, make your goals of life happen. So I got an insurance license. I got sponsored by a friend at MetLife. So I went to work there. That, triggered me to get back into lending and helping people financially. So I did some investing with help people invest their money, but I also did my own. So just keep spiraling from that. And then I'd get one promotion at the bank, and then someone else would notice me. And then, oh, I had the most referrals for this type of program. Why don't you do that? So I just kept being promoted at the bank. So I worked at Chase Bank for about 5 years, had three or four different positions, all on a move up. And then things changed again in the refinance world. So got recruited and went elsewhere. But really, having that eye on the prize of becoming successful. At the time I wanted to make six figures. Okay. I was able to do that, but it didn't just happen overnight. I had to figure out where I could be better and what I'm good at in combining those and telling people about it. I remember an older mentor of mine saying, "How many times have you told your story today?" And I would think, have I talked to people? No. It's just part of meeting people where they are. You have to repeat yourself, be a broken record, say the same thing over and over. But to each person, it's different. They might not have met you, or they might not have remembered that first interaction you've had with them. So just having that, kind of handshake attitude with everyone, give them a smile, meet them where they are, help them, is more rewarding than the sale itself, if there is a sale. Sometimes we're able to help pass along clients to each other in the financial world and not have any gain from that. Well, there's a personal gain, and that is you've been able to help someone get to their next stepping stone. So I feel that's a good moral to have.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's, you hit the nail on the head. Keep your eye on the prize. So, we'll, for the sake of continuing this conversation, fast forwarding to where we are today, and my gosh, it's been a challenging market, not only in real estate and insurance. I mean, I'm sure car salesmen have been hurt in the past 18 months. Kind of share with me. I'm curious, is the most challenging, and I'll say discouraging, because we'll probably all get discouraged if we have tremendous goals and a level of expectation for our own performance. I guess, what was the most challenging or discouraging thing back then compared to, if there even is one today?
Sure. Most challenging thing back then was starting a family when the economy was going sideways. Like the bubble had burst in the financial markets, housing, investments, all of it. And I didn't know what to do. So tried to figure out how to get the next job, tried to figure out how to keep paying my mortgage. It was difficult. So I did what anyone would do to help their family. Try to go make some money. You got to be entrepreneurial. You got to think ahead. You got to be one step in front of whatever competitors out there. Versus now, I'm smarter financially, older and wiser, I guess. You can see my gray, right, Phil? So being older and wiser has taught me that that could happen again. This isn't a guarantee. This world is not a guarantee. Your life is not a guarantee. We are blessed to have every day. So moving into the future would mean you have to have some money aside to help get you there. Well, what about investing in an idea, or investing in a business partner, or your children, or your home, or your spouse? Those kind of things matter, and that can make you happy as a person, but also it can remind you of what you've earned, and how hard you work to earn it, to get to that next position. So that's what I've learned.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great feedback. How challenging is it today? I mean, we know we're starting a new year. If you guys are watching a recording, we're in January of 2025. Like, how hard is it right now?
It's extremely hard. The people that are still in the mortgage and insurance business know that there is light ahead. We know 2025 is going to be a solid year, because home buying is more important now than ever, with the government and with consumers. Consumer price index has been positive. Jobs reports have been positive. That's not doing anything for mortgage rates, but it's helping the American consumer understand that, hey, everything that we've seen and that we think we know is here to stay. Volatility, inflationary environment, that includes higher prices on insurance and mortgages, but it is what it is. So if you want a piece of the pie, you got to pay a little bit for it. And just know that that ownership position is still better than renting or not doing anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. The worst thing real estate is still one of the most sound investments on the planet. Is that right?
A big time. Yep. Even our, president coming in the office, He started his business on real estate, and look at where it's taken him. Some people don't agree with that, but real estate is an investment. It is not an expense. And if you think it's an expense, go ahead and multiply how much you make over time versus what you wouldn't have made if you just rented that property for a little bit less, as a tenant. So uh, it's the rule of compounding. Put it in a calculator. I don't know if you have to have a TI-83 or a BA2 plus, but
Dang, man,
uh,
let's go.
you know, just put it in the calculator and figure it out. It's not rocket science. It's just simply math, and the weighting is the most important part.
That's right. That's right. Curt, you've been doing this. How long have you been doing, I guess, mortgage origination? I mean, I know you've been in the financial sector for many, many years.
Yeah, in financial services, 18 years, mortgages, and I've done everything except appraise properties and do title insurance and surveys. I pretty much underwrite the loan up front. I've originated, done credit, I've done legal stuff. Put different loan packages together, look for discounts, look for off the beaten path loans, quote unquote. I call those creative financing programs for people that cannot get approved using traditional means of financing, whether it's VA, FHA, conventional, jumbo, or USDA. We have programs for those people.
Yeah. What would you say is, and I know you're one of the most humble gentlemen I know, but like, what's Curt Hale's strength? I mean, what you talk about the ups and downs, right? The market will rebound. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we're both going to be here. We both have, dreams for our families. So we're still going to be in the game if the market turns. What is Curt Hale's quality character trait that I have no doubt that you're going to be successful no matter what? Your family's going to be taken care of no matter what. Why is that?
Mine is polite persistence. Everyone wants to hang out and think they know everything about buying a home or investing in a home. And if I can help educate that consumer about what to do, and then be politely persistent on asking them if they're going to fulfill their commitment to make an offer or do the application so they can make an offer. That's the little detail that I provide, not only to my client, but also to my real estate partners and my referral partners. I tell them I'll be your right hand marketing man. You can go, list and represent and show property, and I'll help do the numbers. I'll help fill in those blanks that maybe you don't have time to answer as a referral partner, or don't want to answer. If they don't want to answer questions about rates, great, put it on me. So I would say my attention to detail with those circumstances really helps.
Yeah. You called it polite persistence, right?
Yes. Yep. I do follow-ups on clients, and I have a system to do that. I use Salesforce a lot. That's our platform, our client platform. But I've been using that system for over a decade, and it's very helpful. I've got notes in my iPhone too, but this is easier because it's tied to the referral partner. Is tied to the loan number or the inquiry or the application number. I can make follow-up notes. I can send it to someone if I need a partner to do that in-house. So, but you can't just call someone twice now and expect to get a real estate deal out of that phone call. It's way more than that. It's the most, uh, property is the highest expense in someone's budget typically. So why are they going to jump so quickly if rates are now double what they used to be, prices are double, insurance is double, taxes are double. So you gotta, keep helping them understand what they're about to invest in before they write it off as an expense and it's too much.
Sure, sure. And of course, mortgage origination. I mean, you're kind of like me, right? We're both in referral-based businesses. Most of your business comes from realtors. Is that right?
Yes, realtors and repeat clients. So I'm calling my clients every year for an annual review. Sometimes they'll just call me first, and I greatly appreciate that. That's a remembrance. They respect something that we had talked about, so they remember that I helped them last time, and that's embedded in their heart or their mind, or somewhere financially. Maybe it's on their mortgage statement. I don't know, but I try to be very proactive with my clientele. So I do have clients that call me for a second time.
I think, and that's one of the things I really love about you is I call them systems and processes. Yours are so ingrained that I wouldn't hesitate to say you're regimented,
Sure.
and I think that clients feel that from the very first conversation. So when you say repeat clients, you've made an impression on them. All you've done is just follow the same habit and the same regimen that and you created so well. And when I see you and you talk about how you do the basics, the fundamentals, right? And everyone else is out there trying to do 50 million videos and get TikTok followers.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's not me, and I know it's not you. And I really appreciate and respect that system process, that regimen, and I just feel that it really is about the product today.
Amen. Yeah, that's right. I
Hey,
like
look,
being the person for them if they need to vent or talk about what they're about to do or lean on me, for a better idea or how they're feeling. So yeah,
Well, well, now, and you're like me. You like to make your business partners better. So a lot of realtors are different than a realtor is different than an insurance agent than a mortgage loan originator. I
yeah,
mean, these realtors have a different social aspect. They're more. Some of them are more relational, and I bet you when they have a business partner like you who is so structured, it makes them better, right? It kind of y'all fill each other's gaps, and it allows them, because the client experience includes the realtor and the mortgage loan originator. I just can't help but bet that you're making their home buying experience stronger, for
yes,
sure. Let me ask you
a
a question about
lot of
realtors, because
times.
we've got some realtors watching. Um, what advice, being in the business for almost 2 decades as a mortgage loan originator, what advice can you give for a realtor heading into 2025 who wants to be successful?
I would say make sure you line out your goals early on. Have some big goals and then have some weekly or daily or even monthly goals, because when you start getting into the crux of everything, it's easy to get distracted. It's so easy. You're going to be pulled 100 ways by your broker, clients, lenders, title companies, just vendors in general. So I would say map out your goals early on, even if they're really big.
Yeah, no, that's good. Make the goals, and boy, those distractions, they are so terrible. I mean, it is tough. That's my biggest challenge this year, Kurt, is
Yeah,
is is getting rid of those distractions and staying on task.
that's good. That's good. And another thing too, I was going to add to that, is with all those goals, hopes, dreams, goals, all those things, you still have to, actually do the job, right? Make sure you're good. Good meaning wear your heart on your sleeve. Be attentive. Be present when you're talking with your clients. It's big
Mm,
money. You're not picking out paint colors with someone, right? It's more
yeah.
than that. So try to set parameters with your time as well. Make sure people understand your time. And then lastly, partner with people. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to lean on that lender or that title insurance professional or that insurance professional that's offering help, because we're all part of it. There's not one person in the real estate industry that does everything on their own. And if they do, it's illegal, because it's all licensed business. But I would say lean on people for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's great. Our jobs, man, we love to see successful realtors out there, right? I mean, they're
Yeah.
on the front lines day in and day out. What would you say to encourage a realtor? Because all they hear is, we all see Google and the rates are higher than they were, in the last 30 months or
Yeah.
whatnot. I mean, we all need some encouragement. And I know you touched on this earlier about consumer sentiment, right? Consumer confidence. But do you have a piece of encouragement for realtors in this business?
Yes, I would say expect people to debate things with you or to bring up hearsay, because it's there. But If it was easy, everyone would be a real estate agent. If it was easy, everyone would be an insurance professional or a mortgage professional.
Yep.
So it again, it's big money. It's not an overnight decision. Usually, spouses and families have to talk about it. There has to be some double checking of everything. So expect a low turn, a low pull through with conversations that you have. It's just the time that we're in. So if you talk with 5 people and you have 3 great conversations, I guarantee you one is going to make sense. It might not happen in a month. It could take 3 years, but still that one conversation. So you've got to be able to track that. Same thing with 100 people. If you talk with 100 people over the course of 3 months, talking about doing a mortgage or insurance or buying a house or selling a house, 100 people, I guarantee you 10 of those are probably going to work out in some form or fashion. You cannot expect all 100 to. Even if they say they'll do it, it might not work. And how can you calculate that? Is it going to be based on, for an agent, listings to sale, or for a buyer, buyers to sale? As an insurance professional, quotes to binders or a paid policy. For a mortgage lender, that's a prequal to a funded loan. So those kind of metrics might make sense. So see how you can track that. Yes, it's going to be extra work. Yes, no one's going to pay you to track that, but that's how you can become more tangible for your own time, because you're not allowed to just bill your hours to your clients. We're not we're,
Yeah.
we're not like that. We're in the opposite business. We're in the professional advice business, and you can't really charge fees for doing that. It's just, it comes with the territory. So again, make sure you're doing something tangible, you're present. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And make sure to track your activity with, start to the finished product.
Sure, sure. What really stuck out to me right there is conversations, right? You got to have, there's nothing to count and nothing to track if you're not going to get out of the office and meet people and sell yourself, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The conversations are a big part of it. So I remember years ago where a network marketing person would come over, and they'd do their whole spiel, and then they'd say, "Now list for me 3 people that you know that I could share this presentation with." And you're like, "Oh, I don't know." Well, we're way out of that world. Either A, it's going to come to you naturally, because a person's going to say, "You did a great job, Phil. I'm going to tell my friends at work about you." Or
Mm.
you're going to just ask, because we're in the business of asking for something. And they're going to say, "Well, sure, I didn't know how to tell you, but yeah, I'd be happy to. What can you do?" Because they don't know what to do. So you could give them a business card. You could take them out to breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or coffee, or tea. You could have an event at your office, or support a local small business and have an event at their place, or have their truck come to your office parking lot, like a food truck or something like that. So there's 101 ways to network for free without doing it online or paying for leads or some nonsense like that. You just have to work a little bit smarter. That's all.
Yeah, and I guess it helps to know how to. You have to be able to sell yourself and communicate your value proposition. If someone asked you, Curt, what's the benefit of doing business with you? What would be your answer? Why should
Oh,
I do business
absolutely.
with you?
I get that challenge often, and I love it because I already have an answer. I want you to look at the reviews that my clients have left me. There are 3 platforms for that, and I have no control over what they say on their testimonial. You might find one that resonates with you, you might not. So here they are. They're Google, Zillow, and my Prime Lending website. And they'll say, "Okay, great." But if they say, "No, no, no, what do you do? I was referred to you, but why should I work with you?" I just answer the basic things. "Have I asked you different questions than your other lender did?" And they'll say yes. And I'll say, "Have I answered all your questions today?" And they'll say yes. And I'll say, "Did I provide you a benefit to our call today?" And they'll say yes. And I'll say, "Great. I think you've already answered your own question. I would love to do business with you."
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's start to wind this down. I know you're a busy man and time's valuable. This one's for business people out there. It's a realtor question because you work with realtors, but you're in a closed door. You have the benefit of hearing, being a sounding board for people who are buying a home. Tell me what's the number one. Either you can pick it. Either the number one compliment of of a realtor, and we're talking about the consumer, right? The consumer's man, Curt. Either Realtor A has been awesome or Realtor A has been challenging. Either you tell me the number one compliment or the number one area that realtors that need to improve on. I hate to say complaint, but kind of tell me because someone might benefit from this.
Sure. I love it when the real estate agent is referring me as soon as possible, like the first house they're showing to the customer, because they've already given the trust. They've already shown their trust to the prospective buyer, and then they're referring me right away. But the best part of that is at closing when the buyer says, your company is great. Y'all did a great job. And they're talking to me and my real estate partner that are sitting at the closing, and they think we work together in the
Oh,
same
wow.
office. So it's really nice to have that. Um, Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. But when they're so ecstatic that both of us have helped them uh, either get their dream house or get their next investment property, or we made their difficult transaction so seamless because of the weather or some other challenge, that's a good reward to feel at the end of the transaction. I would say
Yeah.
the inverse of that is when things have just gone way sideways. Doesn't matter, not finger pointing at anyone, but if it's gone way sideways and we've still been able to get to closing, and we can say congratulations on your new home or selling your home or getting your home equity or whatever it is. um, so the communication piece of that is, or the I guess I shouldn't say communication. The uh, the 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 understanding of that is that communication is vital to a real estate transaction, even if it's a repeat customer or the customer is not answering phone calls, text, or email, or even showing up. You still got to be able to communicate that effectively so they understand what they're in for. Because some people just don't want to do that.
Yeah. So if someone asked you what the number one customer complaint on realtors that you could hear that they share with you, would you say it'd be related to communication?
Oh, big time. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. That's right. That's where out. That's it. Out. That's for you realtors out there and all business folks, because insurance, it's all about communication. Life is all about communication. Relationships are all about communication. So
And
you're
I've
at.
seen it. I'm sorry, Phil, and I've
Go
seen it
ahead.
too, where I have helped someone move their loan application to me, even though they had a rate lock when rates were lower, or some special program that they couldn't really get because they couldn't get approved for it. And I've shown them something different, and I said, "Let me ask you a question. Why are we doing this?" They said, "Oh my gosh, well, the other lender said they do all this stuff, and now I can't even get a hold of them. They won't reply. We're supposed to close in next week, and you're having to extend. They just won't reply." And I'm just blown away. I'm thinking, what is the benefit of advertising something so good and then not being able to pull it through? I don't understand that. That makes zero sense to me. So here's what we're going to do for you. I will take your application, we'll do X, Y, and Z, and I will help you get to finalize this loan. We will get to closing as promised. I know why we can do it. Here's, this form, here's that, here's this proof. I need this in addition, and let's get it done. Thank you. You've been so helpful. You just have to make sure the customer understands they're not applying with the lender or the insurer or the listing agent because of a fee or a price. It's the whole package. It's the timeline. Do they know how to do it? Do they have the systems and the team? Do they know what to expect if there's a boulder in the road? How are they going to deal and throw an audible if there's a caution? So It's the
Yeah.
ones that have gray hairs that have been through this a long time that know.
No, you're a technician. You're a technician, and of course, you mentioned prime lending, and you mentioned creative financing. A lot of people, the prime lending brand is strong. It's well known. A lot of people don't know that. They think you can only get VA loans from one of these shops who likes to teach the VA program seminars every weekend. And you talked about prime creative financing. Prime lending gives you pretty much the tools you need to be successful, huh?
That's right. We have over 400 loan products. We have a training team that is dynamite. We have outside programs that we don't originate at Prime Lending that we can do here in the office. And I use those more so now since after COVID than ever before. Just because how the interest rate environment and how tax returns and IRS and employers have been validating things. It's so different nowadays. But yeah, big time.
No,
I'm
that's
also a
awesome.
certified veteran lending specialist, so that allows me to help educate veterans on what type of loan they can apply for, the benefits that they're entitled to, and going on that way, so we can give them some different options and reasons why a VA loan could be more beneficial than a traditional loan. How we can educate a seller or a seller's agent that the buyer's VA loan is a guaranteed loan. This is good. I know we can qualify them. Don't be worried about, X, Y, and Z. So
No,
just a lot of little benefits there.
no, that's huge, and that's the experience factor. Curt, tell everybody who's watching, tell us how we can get a hold of you.
Sure. Best way to get a hold of me is phone or email. It's curthale.com is my web link. You go there, you can see my phone and my email. And then my cell phone for text is 813-495-0366. Thanks, Phil.
You got it, brother. You got it. And you can do loans. Tell in Texas, from the Red River to the Rio Grande. Tell us where you can originate loans.
Yeah, everywhere. And I say everywhere because if I can't originate something because of a specific state licensing requirement, I will refer it to a veteran loan officer that's worked at Prime Lending for over 30 years, and she has licenses in all those states.
Sounds like you already have someone in mind. So that's it, guys. Curt Hale, again, a friend, a partner, someone that I hold in high esteem because of his experience, his intellect, and the fact that he walks the walk. He's implementing systems and processes, and that's why Curt Hale is going to be successful through any season, through any economic environment, just like our team here at the Phil Delgado Agency. It's all about hustle, experience, and focus, and that's Curt Hale in a nutshell. So awesome, Curt. I really appreciate your time. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Phil. Really appreciate it. And go get the Delgado difference.